Welcome to Babbling Rooks. My name is Sriracha Mendel.
I'm sorry, your name is what?
Sriracha Mendel.
Oh, I'll be hoisting Kyle?
I'm looking at a bottle of Sriracha that's on my kitchen counter right now. That's why. And we're gonna play a game called Pentago this week. This is a board game that I got introduced to because I actually don't remember. I think my brother and I played it a while back when we were in Portland, maybe when I was visiting him in Portland or something. But I own a physical copy of this game. The mechanic is pretty simple. You have these tiles, and you can place them down on anywhere that is a freely occupied square. In addition to placing a tile down, you also have to rotate one of these four quadrants. You don't have to rotate the same quadrant that you placed a tile down on, but you can if you want to. The object is to get 5 in a row of your color. Pretty straightforward. I don't think there's really anything other than that. It's a pretty simple game to learn. It's just a little bit nuanced in terms of its strategy.
I guess we should also clarify. You said that you have to rotate the square, but it's rotating only 90 degrees, not like 180 or something.
Yeah, just rotating just one quarter.
Yeah.
So yeah, rotating 90 degrees. So we're also using this application called Tabletop Simulator to play this, which is a Steam game, I guess, or a Steam kind of sandbox area where you can set up your own playfield and have a chessboard or have a dice or do whatever and just kind of configure things to do whatever you want. There's no auto-enforced rules from the computer, so if we do something illegal, then the computer isn't going to catch that, or if somebody wins, the computer doesn't catch that. It's pure sandbox. We're just manipulating a bunch of objects around a table. So that's what we're going to do. I guess, you know what we can do, actually? I think that this stuff is here so that we can figure out who's going to go first.
Who goes first, yeah.
So
hit F. You flip it with F.
Yeah, but my height is such that it's only going to flip once over. So, well, who's
we
heads?
didn't determine.
Yeah, heads I'll go first, tails you go first.
Okay.
Oops, that's flipping not the way I wanted it to.
Alright, well that was...
You flip it. I don't know that. I don't know how to get the flip to happen in a way that doesn't just flip over once. I guess it just does.
Hold on, I got an idea. Whatever it lands back on the table as, that's what we'll do.
What if it doesn't land on the table?
It did.
Okay. So who is heads?
You are heads.
Okay, I'm gonna go first then. And I'll also ask the first question. This plate right there. Let me pull my question up. First question is collective. Describe your morning routine.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, I picked up the bag. Still new, still working on it. I would say my morning routine is wake up and hit snooze 3 times, honestly. And then get up, go to the bathroom, get a shower, and literally be ready for the day before I eat or do anything else. And then I guess part of that's just so strictly regimented because we have staff meetings every morning at 7:30, and then we have breakfast at 8 o'clock every morning when we have teams here. And so, oh yeah, I guess I didn't turn a plate.
I kind of figured that you were going to rotate a empty plate, so.
Right. Because our because our schedule is so regimented.
Oops.
Hold
on, I got it. I think my lift is a little bit too high.
Your lift is too high.
Because I forgot to reset it.
Oh! I'll catch it. Hold on. There it is. Okay. I don't really feel like I have a lot of flexibility in my daily routine, so it's not like it really changes all that much, and it's not like it's super outlandish, I guess.
Okay, that's cool. But is there any other kind of things that are requirements for you in the morning? Did that actually rotate?
Yeah, that rotated.
But you know what? The pieces are not actually on the...
Hey, why is it not working? There, it worked there.
Maybe because I wasn't grabbing it, that's why.
Oh, there you go. Oh.
Okay. Cool. That's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to rotate it that way, so... Okay.
I guess I would say that in the morning while I'm in my bed, I check all my notifications and clear out all my notifications and then read up on the news a little bit. But that only happens most of the time.
Cool.
How about you?
My first routine, are you rotating anything or are you just leaving that alone?
No, I'm just gonna...
Okay. The first thing that I do actually is math, because I have a thing for my alarm to I have a thing on my alarm that in order for me to turn the alarm off, I need to do 3 math problems. And I have it set to medium, which is typically they'll do 2 numbers that you have to multiply, and then something else that you have to add, and then something else you have to subtract. And then you choose from a list of 4 or 5 answers. And if you get any of those answers wrong, then you have to start over and do another 3. And that's purely to. That's purely because I have a hard time waking up in the morning, and there was a point when I went to sleep, granted, at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. the night before, and I was drinking, but I had to get up for a physical therapy appointment, and I slept through the 10 alarms that I had.
Wow.
I deliberately set a lot of alarms because, man, I don't know how to actually... There we go. And I just won.
Yeah, you did. I
accidentally slept through all 10 alarms, even though I deliberately set 10 alarms set at about 10 minutes apart all the way through, and I didn't wake up until about 45 minutes after my physical therapy appointment started. So after that, I actually started looking into physical alarms that could do... How do we reset this thing?
I don't know, I'm looking for that now.
You can figure that out while I talk.
You keep going, yeah.
I started looking for physical alarm clocks that could be something that could ensure that I would be able to wake up by something like that. And I researched some alarm clocks that would run away from you and like have wheels and run away from your table and
yeah, I've seen that before.
That sort of stuff. And there was actually something that went out of production that is a small little DDR alarm clock that I can't find an actual physical copy to buy off of anywhere, including eBay. Like, all throughout the internet, people said, yeah, this thing existed, but then it all got trashed, and it was, yeah, it would play a little techno song, and you had to do an arrow routine with your fingers, and then it would turn off the alarm. So, eventually...
That's cool.
Eventually, I just started looking into alarms on my Android, and I found this alarm on my Android that... an alarm app that I think is called Sleep something. It can track whether you're doing heavy sleep or non-heavy sleep, like you can with fitness things, and set up a whole bunch of different alarms, and also have it link into my hue lights, so it automatically turns off my hue lights when I say that I'm going to fall asleep, and it'll slowly turn those hue lights on when I wake up, when the alarm gets set, and stuff like that. So that's the first thing that happens. I do math.
Gotcha.
The second thing I do is, look over at my laptop and check mail and kind of go through the main emails that I get daily for things like my weather notifications or news or different kind of things like that. And yeah, then I get up and I shower and do all that kind of business. Take vitamins and take pills and all that. So,
is your routine ever really variable? Like, is there something that causes, like, I don't know, like something more than just work versus not work?
Sometimes on the weekend. Well, I don't set an alarm for the weekend unless I have to. There we go. And that changes. Therefore, my routine on the weekend a little bit sometimes, I guess. Like sometimes I don't know. I guess maybe sometimes I'll order things a little bit differently if I don't need to necessarily, say, shower right away or something like that. Like I definitely go through a strict order of shower, and then I brush my teeth. I do flossing and brushing, and then I do clothes, and then I put some stuff in my hair and then hair dry my hair after I put my clothes on. Things like that. So,
okay.
Talk to you later.
But aside from that, I guess it's fairly normal. I don't know if there's anything unusual about my morning routine other than since my laptop is in my bed, then one of the first things I do is after I do math is reach over and do a bunch of internet stuff. So
gotcha. Cool. My first collective question is, how has living in New Orleans influenced your vernacular?
Influenced my vernacular? That's
Yes.
interesting. That I'm not sure if I never really know a lot about how I actually talk. Until actually, I guess that's not strictly true, but sometimes there are people that have to tell me about certain speech habits that I have, or how I say things, and I don't know if I can identify New Orleans specific experiences like that exactly. I guess I've adopted a slight New Orleans. Gosh, I have a lot of problems actually picking something up inside the bag versus the bag.
You gotta go quick. You gotta move it quick.
Oh, is that what?
So clicking and move
okay.
quick. Yeah, that's it.
What was I saying? I think that there are certain things that I say now in a slightly more southern accent, as opposed to when I was in Oregon. Like, I don't know that I would have ever said quarter or for that since before moving down here.
Yeah.
But even though there's aspects of that can be a little bit New York, Brooklyn too. Like I in general, my vernacular is always just this hodgepodge of stuff that I get from everywhere, right? So there are certain things, and that comes from just how I hear things over and over again for a while. So I say water and chocolate sometimes, as opposed to chocolate and water, which both is very weird and uncomfortable for me to say. Yeah, you just lost again.
Yeah, I know. There was no way I could prevent it though.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. I think that if you... Let me go back. There is an undo function. I don't remember what that is anymore.
Except it doesn't work.
Oh, really?
To reset our game. Yeah,
okay.
It didn't work.
What?
I'll get it set up.
Well, did you reset by manually? I didn't even notice that you did that.
Oh, no, I didn't reset I basically restarted the whole game. Like, I started a new game as the
Oh,
host.
did you? Okay, well, you can just do that again.
Yeah.
And there's certain words I'll say certain words that I'll say because I watch a lot of British television, and there's certain words that I will say specifically because you're going first. Specifically because I hear it around New Orleans. I don't know. I don't know if I can really point to a specific. You probably know more than me how my. Well, I guess you don't really know what my vernacular was like before I moved to New Orleans to know the difference between how I am now.
I know what your vernacular is now. Like I know how that's changed since I've met you, but not necessarily whether that's because of New Orleans or.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I think probably the easiest example is the phrase "right on" is something that I never used to. That would never say, and now. Well, I'm sorry, not "right on," but say "all right" as a response to. Or as a hello. In New Orleans, for those people that don't know, people say "all right" instead of "hello," and that's something that I don't understand still. But now I find myself sometimes doing it, and it only happens occasionally, but it has started to happen. And who knows? If I'm here for another 5 or 6 years, then maybe it'll happen. And much more regularly, but yeah. So there's that.
Oh,
I think your lip tight might be a little bit too high.
No, my lip tight's all the way at the bottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cool. So is that your answer?
I guess so. I don't really know how to identify it, so I guess I can't really. Say anything about it other than that.
Sure.
How about you?
I would say it's definitely like different words that I say. Definitely take on more of a southern drawl kind of thing. Like, and it really only took place. I don't know. I feel like my accent is very similar to yours in that it's very adaptable to the people that I'm around. Like we just had a group from Michigan come in, and a bit of a Midwestern accent came out of me that I didn't understand exactly, but it happened. And I would say that the same thing for words like baby, or even just how I call certain tools is different because of my time spent in New Orleans working with tools than this is a weird board setup. Than working with tools beforehand.
Oh, what do you mean?
Such as what?
Like I will only like certain saws.
Good.
Like you can call something a skill saw.
Hell is that?
But skill saw is actually a brand.
Nothing, sir.
But most of the time when people say skill saw, people are, what are you doing?
Nothing, just messing around.
Most of the time when people say skill saw, they are typically referring to a circular saw.
It is your turn, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm still thinking about it.
That's cool.
But it's not. It's not a phrase that is that I wouldn't have understood beforehand. And maybe that's just who I worked with. But part of me thinks that might just be a New Orleans thing too.
Maybe I don't know enough about that to have to pull up my recording monitor. I don't know if I know enough about that sort of vernacular. That's to know how that goes.
Gotcha. So, what are some other words? I don't know, because part of it, so this is why I kind of intentionally asked it, how is living in New Orleans influenced your vernacular? Not just necessarily New Orleanian type words, but I know that you in specific have influenced me to say certain things in certain ways rather than other people. Specifically because your vernacular in general when I first met you was pretty influential on me.
Such as what?
I would have never, in my wildest dreams, imagined that I would say suspect. And yet I did for a while because of you, and then you kind of stopped, and then I kind of stopped as well. And
yeah, I don't say suspect nearly as much as I used to. It still happens sometimes.
Yeah, and what's crazy though about that is that my president, the president of our ministry, was down here, and he said suspect when you said suspect, and I was like, that's the first time I've heard that in a really long time.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I pick up some of those phrases. I don't think that's influenced by a particular region. It's sometimes influenced by TV. Like when I used to say fantastic all the time, that came directly from the first season of Doctor Who. Did you rotate?
No, I did not. I'm still thinking about that.
Okay. And there's other kind of phrases that I picked up, I think, from stuff that I watch on TV. I did pick up right on from living on the West Coast, but I didn't pick that up until after I moved away from the West Coast, or in the tail end of my West Coast stint, because I was highly resistant to using the phrase ever. So yeah. So I think it just kind of depends. It all comes from such different influences.
Yeah. Frick.
I think you just lost again.
I did. Oh, I hate this game.
When we played this game in person, I'm not sure if Kyle won a game against.
I did. I never won a game against you then either. I think I didn't. We only played like 3 games of it, and then we moved on to whatever we were playing with you, me, and Brendan, and a bunch of other people. But
yeah, that's right. Because you got there first, and I pulled that out just as a filler until the other people got there, right?
So, frick. No, wait. I haven't lost yet.
Okay.
Actually, yes, I still lost.
Have you?
Yes.
This turn?
Yeah, this turn.
I'm not sure that I see it.
Well, I shouldn't have said anything. I'll keep going on about my vernacular, and also words that I kind of refused to say for a while, and then I gave into it because of the two-lane community, which was no worries.
Oh, no worries for me is a West Coast thing. That's something I got from the West Coast.
And it's never something that I don't even think I really heard it that often when I lived in Alabama.
I see it.
And then well, you gotta lay down the thing first, Mendel, come on. Put the whole back on there.
I want Tabletop Simulator to ding ding at me and say, hey, you won.
I guess it's hard though, because it's not like I feel like they probably do stuff like that for built-in games, but
well, you can if we wanted to, you can create conditions based on Lua code, which is coincidentally the same sort of stuff that you can do in Stepmania. Is all themes and stuff like that is all written in Lua, but it would require every single one of these objects to then have conditions to understand what is a black piece versus a white piece, and blah blah blah, and like all that sort of business. Yeah, what is 5 in a row and all that sort of business.
Gotcha. Interesting. Well, we're not doing that for sure. But yeah, I definitely started saying no worries as soon as I got the 2-lane because of the California population.
I definitely resisted saying no worries and right on for a really long time. I don't know if I say right on so much anymore. But it definitely happened for a while. Oops.
Too much rotational force, Mendel.
Second collective question for me is...
you want to do collective or personal?
Okay, yeah, sure, fair enough. Personal, I forgot about that. The personal question is, in comparison to the other times that you've been in Costa Rica, how long has this stay felt to you? And how distant does your time in New Orleans feel right now?
Ooh, that's a good point. I definitely feel, compared to other times, because I've already outlasted a full 90-day cycle, which is not something I've ever done in the past. I definitely feel like I'm more of like a permanent fixture now. But it's kind of this weird balance, though, right? Because I still have less than a year left in my time, and so there's that part of me that feels permanent, and then there's that part of me that feels temporary.
Is that something that you actively are aware of or actively think about?
Yes. Only because it becomes a question that's so frequently asked by teams, because teams will pretty frequently ask, okay, well, when did you get down here? And I'll be like, well, I got down here in March. And it's like, okay, well, how long do you think you're going to stay? And I say, depending on my funding, somewhere between a year total and a year and a half. And so, because it's asked so frequently of me, it's almost like this constant reminder. Is it my turn?
Yes, it is now.
It's this kind of constant reminder of, I don't know if we should do that. Hold on. It's this constant reminder of my temporary state of being in Costa Rica.
Yeah, right.
But I do still feel more permanent just because, one, I've been here longer than before, like I said, but then two, I feel that some of the relationships I have and my role as my official title is like director of worship, but my role as a semi-permanent fixture within the ministry is felt in staff meetings and whenever we talk with interns and things like that. So, and then I guess the other half of your question was how distant does New Orleans feel?
Yep.
I would say as of right now, it feels pretty distant solely because I know I'm going to be there in 3 weeks, and it just feels like it's been so long since I've seen my friends and family. But I feel like that's also kind of dependent on a day-to-day thing, honestly, because yesterday, if you had asked me that, like I just opened up a whole bunch of birthday gifts from my friends and family in New Orleans, and I loved it, and I was like, I felt close to New Orleans because of a simple gift like a bottle stopper for pouring alcohol that my Dat Dog friends gave me. Crap.
Yeah, you did an interesting move the last move.
Oh, except I won.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Neat. Yes. Take that, Mendel. I got 6 in a row. Sextago. Alright, well, reset again.
Check.
Alright, here we go. Magic coin flip. Go.
Scores to equalize. You build a city on feeble lies, then cry when the ground opens wide and swallows your high rise. You live ignorant.
Yeah, so I guess my homesickness, if you will, for New Orleans changes pretty drastically from day to day. Just because of there are things that pull me closer, and times that I feel just completely distant and kind of isolated from my group of friends in the area.
Does Costa Rica feel home-like?
Not really. Part of me says yes, just because I feel like I'm pretty much fluent now in the... What are you doing?
Nothing.
No. Give me... Alright, fine. I'll hold your piece hostage as well. Actually, you know what? Take that. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Actually, I'm gonna turn this one. I shouldn't have turned that way.
Yeah, okay. That
was a terrible decision. Frick! I've lost. That's not true.
No. This is all coming back to me now. What has to happen to deal with that thing?
Yeah. Costa Rica only feels homey in the sense of this is where I sleep. Like, my house feels like my home, but Costa Rica does not feel like my home, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
It definitely... It's not like when people ask me, where are you from, that I'm going to say, oh, I live in Costa Rica. I would still say I'm from New Orleans, because that sense of community is so much stronger. And such a community that I built up over so many years that I can't imagine saying anything else.
Right.
Ah! I knew that would look too easy when I placed it. I was like, oh, that was like an easy move. Why would I do that? Oh, well. I guess
What is that, Tails?
Yeah, it's Tails.
You could just take all the stuff off.
What, just like shake off all the pieces? Like just chunk them?
No, can't you pick up the pieces? You can pick up the pieces individually.
Or we could do this.
I guess you could do that. It'd be chaotic.
Yeah. Chaos. I love it. No! Don't fall back in there. Where do the other pieces go?
I don't know.
Well. Alright.
Guess we're restarting now.
Yep. I don't know why we didn't do that in the first place. There we go.
You can go first since we did roll tails.
Man, these kids are not outside. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It is definitely like my homesickness in New Orleans is definitely kind of a day-to-day thought process.
Cool.
No. Oh! Too much. The power of my span. My personal question to you is, how exactly do you categorize student data for the TUMB?
What do you mean by categorize?
Like, I know how at the end of the year you always have, like, you know, what is one thing you would improve about the TUMB or whatever. And, like, how exactly do you go about, like, categorizing that?
There are a lot of answers that are really similar, and those just get collectively put into a pool of as the same answer, right?
Okay. So you kind of create like a general answer, and then all the ones that kind of fall under that category, you.
Not exactly. I look at all the answers, and the first answer becomes the first answer.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And if one of the more common answers for what's the best thing about the TUMB, or what was the most positive aspect of the semester, is the community and the friendships, and that's something that a lot of people describe in different ways, but still falls to the answer of it's just community and friendship, and then that's easy enough to categorize.
Gotcha.
So it's a matter of just summarizing the positive and the negative answers, and then compiling them together so that we can get our statistical data for that. There's categorizations for there's lots of different categorizations that we do for other things too, like for our budget and how we spend on our budget and things like that I came up with categories for, and that's just something that I just use my own judgment to determine.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other kind of examples where where that stuff really comes into play. But yeah, a lot of that is just my familiarity with how to take data and to parse it into meaningful things, and hopefully garner some positive change and how we can improve the program to reflect what the students want, and also just be aware of what the students actually like versus not like in any given situation. But both of those things I think are important enough.
Okay. Cool. What's your next collective?
My next collective question is: what television show has your highest watched episode count, and why?
That to me, I feel like I know the why before I even know which one it is.
Okay.
Because I feel like I watch a lot of shows in their entirety. To me, it bothers to not watch a show in its entirety, and so I feel like whatever my answer is going to be is whatever show that I've seen the most seasons of.
Even if you don't end up liking it, or if if it starts to really fall apart in a season,
I would still finish it out. I would say this: I at least finish out the season, even if I don't completely finish out the show. Because there's one show I haven't ever finished out Parks and Recreation because I never watched the last season because it wasn't on Netflix at the time, and I couldn't force myself to watch it as it was coming out because I don't like waiting in between weeks for shows to come out.
Oh, so you can't watch shows 1 week at a time?
No, it's very difficult for me to watch shows 1 week at a time.
Why is that? Too impatient?
Either I'm too impatient or my schedule's too busy to the point where if I'm not actively trying to watch a TV show, there's so much other stuff that I need to be doing. Like, in my mind, I categorize watching TV as something that's like, for personal enjoyment, but I want to sit down and actually, if I'm going to watch TV, have enough time to at least watch an hour's worth of television, or hopefully at least 2 hours worth of television at a time.
Right, but doesn't a weekly schedule then...
No, because a lot of times it conflicts with my weekly schedule, because typically I already have stuff scheduled for that timing that the show is coming out.
Well, I'm not saying that you watch the show as it's airing, but you could still watch the episode by DVRing it or downloading it.
I see, like on a weekly basis.
Yes.
No, because then I don't know. To me, I guess maybe it's because of an impatient thing, or maybe it's just also I don't think about watching TV on a weekly basis. To me, it's kind of like, oh, I've got some free time. Let me watch like 3 hours worth of this TV show.
So what's the most that you've watched in a single sitting?
The most TV I've watched in a single sitting?
Yes.
Probably about like 10 hours worth of television.
Okay.
I think there was one day while I was at Tulane that I was sick, and I just sat and watched literally 3 seasons worth of a television series.
In 10 hours?
Yeah. Oh, and that answers my question, because I know exactly what I've seen the most episodes of. And that would be How I Met Your Mother. Because that's the longest. That had 9 seasons. And I watched all 9. And that beats out Scrubs, which I've watched every episode of Scrubs, except there were 9 seasons, but nobody who's a real fan of Scrubs should count the 9th season as a season of Scrubs. It should only count it as a season of some vague Scrubs-like thing that wasn't really Scrubs. And that's what makes it okay. So I've only seen... I guess I would have to do like a specific count between those 2 shows, because some seasons are longer than others. Is that your move?
I'm still thinking.
Okay. I see your hand has a little grip on it. Here, let me hold it for you.
I haven't lifted off the.
Ooh, that was neat.
That is kind of neat. Yeah, we're gonna call that my move.
Yeah. Intriguing.
My longest episode, the show that I've watched the most of is I guess partially by default because it lasted for so long, it was Stargate SG-1. Because that ran for... you just lost.
What?
You just lost.
Oh.
That ran for 10 seasons.
Oh, frick. This game sucks. Flip the table.
There is a way to undo, and I don't remember how that happens. Like, is that what you just did? You just undo?
Yeah, I hit the rewind up at the top, but I tried doing that to get us to... Oh, now it's working.
I don't have a rewind thing at the top. So.
Oh, I guess that's just for elements.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
It says I'm rewinding time, but then after a certain point, it just stops. Because I think it's literally rewinding time and not moves.
Oh, yeah, that's possible.
So, I'm just going to do this, which is much easier.
Yeah, Stargate SG-1 ran for 10 seasons, and that was after they kind of thought that they were going to be canceled after, I think, 6 seasons, but then they moved networks from Showtime to Sci-Fi Channel, now just called Sci-Fi. And then there was also a big change in casting that happened between season 8 and season 9 and whatever, and it lasted a long time, and it was not great to start, but it was intriguing enough that I liked watching it, and then it got really good, and there were some really standout episodes. I'm not sure what's after that, because there isn't really a lot of TV that lasts for a long time anymore. I guess maybe Doctor Who could count, because I know that I've watched every episode of the 3rd Doctor through the entire old series to the end of the 7th, and I've watched all the episodes of the new season, and that's...
Have you kept up with Capaldi? I was gonna say Doctor Who, except I just kind of dropped out whenever Capaldi got in.
Yeah, Capaldi's great.
I like him. I like his character, but I just haven't followed since then.
What do you mean? There hasn't been anything since the last Christmas episode, so...
Yeah, no. I watched like 5 episodes of the first season that Capaldi was in, and then I stopped.
Oh, so your thing about completionism is a lie then, is what you're saying.
Oh, shut up, Mendel!
Because that's clearly not true then of Doctor Who, since you haven't watched all the rest of Doctor Who. And
yeah, but that was at a weird time, because it came out like at the end of my Tulane career, and I was focused on Tulane.
What are these excuses that I'm hearing?
Shut up, Mendel. Don't make me flip this table. I'm gonna flip the table again. Flip the table! Yeah, now look what you've done. Look where that table's going.
I can't actually see it because it's off my screen now.
Here, let me show you again! Alright, I'm done now. Shut up, Mendel.
No, there's the Capaldi season. There's one episode in particular that's just so stand out. I think I just lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost. Restart.
Alright, Mendel, don't give me the satisfaction.
If you want to go through that, then sure.
I'm the completionist, Mendel.
If you
Alright, with your cheap moves.
There's one episode in the most recent season, like the penultimate episode of the season, that a lot of people have said is probably one of the best episodes of the entire new series run. And it is pretty great, and it's impressive. It is impressive Capaldi, I'll say that, because a lot of the episode is just him by himself, and it's very powerful. It's pretty great.
It's cool. Shaking it up.
I'm trying to think what other shows I've watched a lot of episodes of.
Futurama should be on your list somewhere.
Yeah, I guess so. Futurama lasted for about 7 seasons or 7.5 seasons because they had those movies in between. So yeah, that definitely counts. don't know. I think it's just tough to. It just turns into a kind of a game of what shows have lasted long enough for me to watch it in its entirety. I guess the better question would be, what shows have I not watched, or what shows have we not watched to completion? Because there's definitely shows that I drop after a while. When I really start to dislike it. Like Lost was a really good example of that. I really didn't like Lost.
Are you gonna flip a thing?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
I was just making sure.
Yeah. I just couldn't stand Lost after a while.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess all of the shows that I've dropped out of watching are shows that I say that I'm going to come back to and just subsequently forget about. So there are probably a lot of shows in the universe that I've probably watched a little bit of, but don't find myself ever picking up ever again. Ooh.
How many episodes of a show, like you say that with some clear exceptions, that you complete at least the season, even if you don't like it anymore. So does that apply then to how many episodes of a show that you start watching does that apply to? Like if you watch one episode of a show and you just don't like it, then do you watch the rest of the season, or?
I feel like yes, because I feel like I'm selective enough of television shows that I wouldn't start watching a show unless I was really certain that I was going to like it.
Okay.
The only example I could have of a show that I may never end up watching all the way, but I will at some point because I really want to see Daredevil Season 2, is Jessica Jones. Because I've only gotten through like the first or second episode of Jessica Jones. And because that was at the beginning of the summer when teams started picking up, so I then essentially just stopped watching because I was busy.
Gotcha.
But I know that I will, even though as of right now I don't really care for Jessica Jones.
You might want to undo that move.
Oh, what? No, Mendo. Oh, frick.
Okay. If you don't want to undo that move. I just rewatched Jessica Jones actually, and again.
That's cool.
And yeah, it's fantastic.
That's good. It was definitely very slow in the first couple episodes for me. But that's how I felt about Daredevil too, and then I actually got through like episode 5, and then I really loved it, and I didn't stop watching it. So I have a feeling that that's going to work the same way for Jessica Jones, because I've heard so many really awesome reviews about it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. In general, the Netflix Marvel series are pretty awesome. I can't say I'm a big fan of the amount of gore that's involved, but
that's fair. But you're also very against a lot of American telly shows because of the gore involved as well.
I don't know if it's because of the gore that's involved as much as I just don't. There's a lot of American TV I just don't really like. I don't know. There's American comedy as a general rule is not something I like a whole lot, but Brooklyn Nine-Nine is pretty great. So I think it just really depends on
what it is.
Who's writing the material. There are plenty of U.S. sitcoms or in comedies in general that I just think are awful, and I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine might be the only American comedy aside from like say Archer that I really like these days.
Gotcha. I know one day I'll get back to Jessica Jones and then into Daredevil 2 because I want to see that second season. Alright, I guess the last question. What?
I won't spoil any of that stuff, but
yeah.
But once you watch that stuff, we should discuss it because I've got opinions about Daredevil and Jessica Jones and season 1 versus season 2 of that all that stuff. So
cool. Yeah, we will. When I'm good and ready, Mendo. Don't rush me. I guess my last collector question is, what is your current favorite Steam game?
Steven Sausage Roll is the only thing that I'm playing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I should have done that, huh? That's alright. Yeah, Steven Sausage Roll is pretty great. It took me a little while to get into just because at the time when I got it, there was just a lot of other stuff going on in my life that I couldn't really devote myself to it fully, and I was kind of finishing up some other game, I think. Well, I'd also just purchased The Witness, and which I kind of stopped playing because it was too inconvenient for me to switch over to use Boot Camp for that. And I think because things were really busy with Niente Forte and the end of the semester and all that sort of business, it just kind of fell to the wayside. And then at some point, I just started to pick it up again because just randomly I was looking for something new to occupy my time casually. So yeah, now I'm pretty into it. And have gotten, I guess, pretty far. I don't know how far. I don't know how many areas there are total.
Yeah. I guess. Okay. So what world are you currently at? That would be a good question.
6.
Which is.
I don't know if I want to spoil it for
That's
people.
Fair. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, maybe you don't want to
play it. It's I guess it's the area where after you complete a level, a sausage needs to be unlocked pretty much after every level.
Oh, so you're far into it.
Which is unfortunate in some ways because. Yeah, I'm pretty far now. It's unfortunate to me in some ways that it's like that because I guess it's not too spoilery to say that when you first start off playing the game, it's a puzzle game that's probably one of the hardest puzzle games that I've ever played. To start, it gets a little bit easier as you get more familiar with the mechanics of the game, that's for sure. Like, I kind of blew through some of the worlds. I forget which world in particular. I think I blew through almost all of Area 5 until I got to like the second to last puzzle or third to last puzzle, and then I had to spend like 3 hours on that because I just had no idea what to do, and kept on trying things and just couldn't get anything to work. And there's actually a puzzle that I solved in a way that's different from how somebody else solved it that I found out later. But the thing about every area in the game is that there's multiple puzzles associated with every area in the game, and you can kind of pick and choose which ones that you want to go to. So if you get stuck on a puzzle, then it's not too difficult to say, okay, well, I'm going to come back to this later. Maybe it'll make more sense if I try to do one of the other puzzles, or just kind of do whatever order you want. And unfortunately, in this area, because every puzzle that you complete unlocks basically a gate that you can't get through to get to the other puzzle. So you have to do the puzzles in order. Right. And I don't really like that.
I don't either. I think that's basically my complaint. That's kind of why I've put down Steven Sausages for a while, because every once in a while I'll open it up and I'm still stuck in that same puzzle.
Oh, you didn't finish it?
No, I'm still not finished because I basically got to that area where you're at, and I sit there for hours looking at one puzzle, and I still don't even get it, and I can't. It's not like I can go to another puzzle, figure out something, and then come back.
Okay, that's fair. But was the question what my favorite Steam game is, or what the game that I'm doing right now, or what?
What's your current favorite Steam game?
Current favorite Steam game.
So,
because I guess that's the game that I'm playing right now.
Oh, what?
Don't.
Let's just not do that ever again.
I think that might be a separate question from just my favorite
That makes sense. Yeah, like
you know, my favorite Steam game is probably still Invisible Ink, because it's just such a brilliant game and something that I played for so many hours. Like I spent probably over 450 hours on that game for sure. But that game is fantastic.
Frick, what am I doing?
Man, you were just.
Oh, that's what I want. Wait, is that what I want? That was what I want. No! I don't know what's going on.
Just
Why is
blowing through stuff left and right there.
Yeah. I don't understand. The game hates me now. Yeah, I guess it was a pretty good current favorite, and whether your current game you're playing is necessarily a favorite since that's the only one you're playing.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna say that Steam and Sausage Roll is your current favorite game on Steam.
Okay, you can do that.
I would say, even though I'm not playing it anymore, I always, for some reason, every time I open Steam, have this strong desire to play Undertale again. And I would say that's definitely my current favorite Steam game, just because it was such a fantastic game. And part of me wants to go through and play through it again just for like the fun of going through the certain timeline that I went through. But then part of me doesn't want to, like, I don't know, ruin the fun sense I had of it going through it the first time.
I guess. If there's a game strong enough for me to like that playing through it is something that I want to do, I don't get a diminished sense of enjoyment out of it. Really.
I feel like I do sometimes, but maybe that's, I don't know, it's been a long time since I've done stuff like that, so maybe I should actually go through it and try it.
There's two different ways I could go here. And we're gonna do that.
You're thinking really hard about that. Are you sure? Are you 100% positive, Mendel?
Not 100% positive. That doesn't. Hold on. No, what did I do? Where did I put it? Did I put here?
Yeah.
No, I think it needs to be.
Hello, this is God.
Do you think that if you played Undertale again, that you would go through the third ending?
No, I couldn't. Absolutely couldn't. Because of its permanence, I couldn't allow myself to do that.
What's up, Scott?
Part of me wants to, because I also downloaded the soundtrack, and there are a lot of really cool tracks that I like on the soundtrack that I know are only like I kind of spoiled a lot of those of that ending because I wanted to find out where that was in the soundtrack, and
Gotcha.
because they were great songs, and I was like, I don't remember hearing this song, and then I desperately wanted to hear this song, and I was just kind of confused. Is that your move?
Yes.
Okay, I won.
Oh yeah. Well then it was pointless anyway.
Yeah. I had you pretty good luck.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of spoiled it because I really like this tracks, and I was like, well, I don't remember hearing this, so where did it come from? And it's like, oh, apparently on the third ending, I could have done this, and it would have spawned up this.
Right.
So, still though, it's such a fantastic game.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, I still wouldn't be able to. It's not even about the fact that it would permanently change the game. I just don't think that I could go through the third ending of the game anyway.
I think I could if it wasn't permanent, because I do that with a lot of my games. You can choose different endings like that. Like for both of the Knights of the Old Republic games, you can basically choose to be a light side Jedi or a dark side Jedi or a neutral Jedi, but the neutral Jedi doesn't have the perks. And I would always, with all of those games, play through once going one direction and then play through it immediately afterwards, almost going the opposite direction.
Well, I could go through an opposite. I could go through a dark path and go through that sort of thing. But Undertale was a little different because I started to care too much about the characters, and
Right.
it doesn't. And that's I don't think that would be as true for another game that has a morality compass.
Maybe I can see that because you do end up caring a lot for the characters. I think I would still be able to do it once, even though I care so much about the characters. If it wasn't permanent, I would at least go through it once. And then probably subsequently go back and do it through the second game again.
Fair enough. Cool. Is that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Sweet.
That's Pentago.
Cool. Yeah. And Tabletop Simulator. So, I guess that's going to be it for the week. We'll be back, I guess, next week with some other game that we're going to let's play through that will be my choice. I'm not sure what I'm going to choose yet, but I'll figure something out.
Nice.
So, cool. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a good week.
And enjoy this table flip. Bye, everybody.
See ya.